What's going on, guys? Vulkan, and today I have a hot, ready to eat fresh Division video for you. So what is on the menu? Well, I wanted to put together a video that would be beneficial to new and returning players. And the point of this video is to kind of give you guys a North Star, if you will, of what to work towards for a build. Now, Division does one thing very, very well. It gives you tons and tons and tons of gear to sift through, build things around, people come up with some pretty crazy compositions, and people come up with some really, really bad compositions. So you get both ends of the spectrum. Or you can just shoot the straight and narrow, pick a set that you really, really like, and build around it. So that's really what I did. Now, as some of you may know, I came back to Division after quite a while. When I first left, it was right after Falcon Lost had come out, and they had announced gear sets. The only way to get gear sets was through Falcon Lost. They have since changed their tune on that, and you get gear sets from everything. I'll be out in World Tier 5, running along, I'll kill a red bar, and he'll drop a piece of gear, a gear set item, rather. And it's really, really cool that they kind of took this approach. Now, you have the opposite end of the spectrum, that's Destiny, where it's a slow trickle of gear, and Division, it's an absolute deluge of gear. Both have their benefits, pros and cons. I'll not get into that in this video because we need to talk about you guys. So, jumping into it, my gear set is Predator's Mark with Tactician's 2-piece as a support. My weapons are the lightweight M4, and I'm rolling an Unforgiving, Ferocious, and last but not least, a Competent on this thing. Now, as for my secondary weapon is the Tactical AUG A3P. And on this guy right here, I'm running a Determined, a Competent, and a Responsive. Now, what is Predator's Mark? Predator's Mark is a gear set that functions off of bleeds. And these bleeds are absolutely kick-ass. Now, the 2-piece is plus 10 reload speed. The 3-piece is going to be plus 8% assault rifle damage and 8% SMG damage. The 4-piece is going to be Predator's Mark. If you land 10 shots on your opponent, on your target, they bleed for 50% of the total damage that you put out during those 10 shots. So you have a few different options here. One, if you read closely, it doesn't care what you do as long as you don't switch targets. You can switch weapons, you can mix and match, you can use a skill, you can come out of cover, it doesn't matter. It's going to do the same, or not same, but it's going to do damage. For my 2-piece on Tactician's Authority, we got that plus 15% skill haste because we want to be able to use Pulse, and we want to be able to use our healing booster shot much, much more. Another set that I like to cover is going to be the Strikers and Sentry's Call. Those will come in different videos. But the 2 pieces on here, Strikers gives you plus 20% stability, and the Sentry's Call gives you plus 20% accuracy. So you can substitute those in for Tactician's Authority if you're having trouble keeping your reticule on the target. I have a little bit of trouble every now and then, but for the most part, I'm able to throw some lead down range and hit what I'm shooting at. Now, why did I choose Predator's Mark? Because I like status effects. It's something I've always enjoyed in RPGs, so I figured, hey, let's go with a set that throws bleeds on people. Now, if we go ahead and pop up, and let's throw some numbers on some targets. Alright, so you can see to the left of my gun, there's a little green bar. And here, I'll pop back up, and I'll go ahead and I'll switch sides here so you guys can see it a little bit better. If you look to the right of the gun, there's a little green dot. And as I shoot, the number goes up. And it's 7 out of 10, 9 out of 10. And what that is those are your hits on that same target, which then will start ticking that bleed. As you can see, it's 14k. Now, what it did was it took the 10 shots that I did and combined them and gave us a bleed. If we pop over to the AUG, same thing. We got, what was that, 11k popping up down there. So if you go a little bit slower, maybe get some headshots, a little bit of body shots in there, you can kind of mix and match a little bit, and that pops up to around 11k, 11.1. So let's go ahead and use our pulse and our booster shot, switch over to our M1 or lightweight M4 and throw some lead down range, and that's going to be an 18k difference. If we hit headshots, that's going to significantly increase because the total amount goes up. So that's taken for 32.5k over instead of our 11k that we originally had. Now if we do the same thing with the AUG, it looks like we're rolling around, what is that, popping up 15k. So we got a 15k using headshots with pulse and our booster shot. Now, since this AUG has responsive on it, this is a multiplicative modifier, so we should actually have a little bit stronger bleed coming on here, because obviously we're going to be within 10 meters of our target. So if we go ahead and we pop up, then we should be able to get some headshots in here, and we'll take a look what the bleed does. So we're bleeding for about 18.4, which is decent. I mean, it's more than what we had in the other one. The other one was 11k, and that's purely based off the responsive. Now there's one thing you have to know about Predator's Mark. It puts the bleeds on. There's a nice little talent in here called shrapnel, and acquiring or applying a bleed to any target triggers a 30% chance to spread that bleed throughout the entire group. So if you have one target that has that bleed, you have a 30% chance it's going to spread to everything else in that group. That's going to do some major damage and give you some major AoE DPS. And AoE, for those of you guys who don't know, is area of effect. So if we flip over to the Striker pack, this is another one that we can look at. Now the Predator's Mark's great, but some people prefer just to do raw damage. They don't really care too much for the bleeds. The Striker's pack's pretty nice. Every consecutive hit gives you 1% increased damage up to 100%. Any misses, drop it by 2%, and you're dropping by 1% every second regardless. So with a shotgun, you're able to hit those consecutive hits very, very quickly. So if you decide to go with a Striker set, you can actually roll a shotgun and hit that 100% really, really quickly. Though this is a piece of classified gear, so there's also a set item 5 and 6. We'll get to those in a moment, but from the Striker standpoint, you're going to be just doing raw damage and blowing things up, especially if you roll shotgun, SMG, you're up close and personal. Personally, that's the way I like to roll Strikers, just because I feel like I can reach that 100% modifier very, very quickly, and if I'm running something like the Showstopper, I'm able to really get in there and blow stuff up quick, get my damage up really quick, and sustain it. So looking at the 5-piece, we got another plus 10 stability and another plus 5 enemy armor damage, bringing the total up to 15% armor damage and 30% stability. Looking at the 6 set bonus, you have the same thing as above, each consecutive hit, 1% up to 100%, but you also gain a self-applying heal. And this heal is going to heal you for 1% of your maximum health, and for every 2,000 stamina you have, it's going to give you an additional 3%. So since I have 5,100, I'll have an additional 2. So I'll have 6 plus 1, so 7. So I'll have 7% of my max health healing. And on top of that, you also have that 2%. Remember we talked about above, where 2% of your damage, 2% of your damage is gone if you miss. Well, this 6-piece actually lowers it, so that way it's 1% penalty instead of 2, which is phenomenal in my opinion, because that makes it even easier to keep that damage rolling. This set, along with my Predator's Mark set, I'm really torn between which one I like more, but they just crush, just annihilate enemies, especially if you roll with an enemy armor damage build, or you roll something that's responsive with a Showstopper shotgun, and you can just crush everything. It's amazing. So I would say, for you guys out there that are just getting into Division, you're just starting, those are 2 sets I would absolutely love for you guys to look into and look after. The Predator's Mark set and the Striker set. If you get a piece of classified gear, which by the way is just it's a very, very rare drop, and it takes a regular set of gear and adds those additional 5-piece and 6-piece bonuses. You only have to have 1 piece of classified to get the 6-piece. So don't worry about trying to get all 6 classified. You get a classified chest piece, for example, then the other 5 can just be regular set pieces. I'm missing the Striker's holster, so I'm not able to get the full 6-piece there yet. I'm still trying to look for the Predator's Mark classified because it absolutely shreds from what I've seen on the forums and in videos. So I'm really, really excited to hopefully get that one at some point. Now, what's the best place to kind of find these? Anywhere out in the world, gear set pieces drop everywhere. If I was new, coming into the scene, completely fresh, get to World Tier 5 as quick as you can, and jump into challenge modes, hard modes, get into the Dark Zone if you like PvP, Underground. Literally any event ever can give you gear set pieces. So, I hope this video was good. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think. And until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Have a great, great day.